everyone, my name is Sean. I am the Crypto Smith. Thanks for coming back to the channel. I do appreciate it. Today's video is brought to you by Ripple versus the SEC. This is the case of the century for crypto. Well, the case of the decade, maybe. For cryptocurrencies everywhere. A lot hinges on this case, which is why I cover it. It's very exciting. I do hold XRP, and I obviously am wishing this thing is over and we can move on, whatever the outcome. Obviously, we don't want to see worst case scenario where XRP is ultimately labeled as a security going forward. I don't think we're going to see that, and I'm going to explain a little bit about what's going on. Why is the XRP price jumping yesterday and today? And let's get straight into this one. So over the weekend, which was a couple days early, the SEC and Ripple both filed their summary judgment motions. Now, if you don't know what that is, and I didn't really understand what it was because I'm not a lawyer, don't know much about the law. Summary judgment motions basically are filed by each side, and they state as facts that these are all the facts that we have. This is why I believe that our side should win, and the judge should side with our position. You know, opposition, they say the same thing. Like this is what we're looking at. This is why we believe we're not a security or we're never security, and all of the facts, leading up to that. That's what they do. They present it to the judge and they present it to each other. Now everybody gets to read it. So we, the public, now get to see what is the argument the SEC has to prove that Ripple sold illegal securities or illegal unregistered securities in the very beginning. And they also purport that XRP itself is a security, even in the secondary market. So let's just get right into this one. And Jeremy Hogan breaks this down. If you don't know him, go give him a follow and watch some of his videos. Obviously, he's an attorney, so he can break this down much better than I can. But I want to give you guys kind of a 30,000 foot overview of what's going on here. And really, I can't admit, this is all good news. I mean, to me, this is all good news. It would be better if they just settled and it was done and we could move on. But this is a bright spot in the market that we've just been slogging through for the last many months. So this is good to see. Summary judgment motions for the SEC. Here's just some of those items that they have in their brief. It's very fact specific, right? And basically, in order for a judge to rule on these, there has to be really no dispute of the facts. If there's dispute of the facts and the judge says, hey, these aren't really facts, these are opinions on both sides, and maybe we need to get a jury trial together, and then they'll decide what are facts and what are not. All the experts looking at the motions for summary judgment that they're filed, it looks like they're all very fact-oriented. So they believe this should be determined by the judge. Now, it's not going to happen right away. The judge doesn't get this and then, read it for a couple of days and then rule on it. What happens is both sides are going to counter each other's summary judgment motions. So they're going to say, well, I don't agree with it, and these are the reasons, and the other side, gets the same turn. And so that could take a couple of months before the judge is really fully briefed on the entire thing and the replies to it in order to start making a decision. So we may not see a decision for another 6 months. I mean, it's entirely possible. Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, also says the same thing. He sees a couple of months before the judge really is fully briefed, and then could take another couple of months, up to 6 months for the judge to come up with a ruling. All the while, we still have the Hinman emails up in the air. The judge that it was appealed to has not made a ruling yet. We expect the judge to come out and say, denied again. Hey, you have to hand over those Hinman emails. And then there'll be some sort of other delay tactic, I'm sure, by the SEC. But that's neither here nor there. That's not what we're talking about today. So on the SEC side, what wasn't in their brief was that XRP is inherently a security. So they're not arguing now at the end of this, even though they've stated before that they thought XRP in today's market sold today was an unregistered security. In this brief, they're not saying any of that. So that's a good thing, which means if the judge rules on this, we've eliminated the worst possible outcome. And that would have been XRP deemed a security today. And if you hold XRP, basically you're holding something that's worthless and you're most likely not going to be able to sell. And you lost whatever money you had into it. Thank you, SEC. But that wasn't in this brief, which was really nice to see. That was pretty much the worst thing that could have happened, and that is gone. So really, they only concentrated on the initial sales of XRP. So back in 2013, 2014, they're still stating that XRP was sold as an unregistered security by Ripple and Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson, who were also named separately. So this is what it's going to be about. Although they never really specified any specific instance that they did, just a general overview that, well, back in the day, they sold these things and it wasn't proper and they shouldn't have done that. That's against the law. And, there should be some sort of repercussions for that, right? So the SEC is also saying that Ripple, in the beginning, when they sold XRP, that they were telling the investors that we're going to do something that's going to create more value for this token, right? And thus kind of creating a prong of the Howey test where you buy something from somebody and then they're promising you that they're going to do work that's going to increase the value of your investment. That's kind of one prong of the 4 of the Howey test. But they didn't specify anything concrete. There was no proof of that. There's no advertising, right? There's no copy of any marketing piece that states that Ripple is going to do X, Y, and Z in order to increase the value for the investor. So there's that as well, which is quite confusing. Doesn't seem to be a lot of very specific information for the SEC as far as proof goes. It's just very generalized information. Now, on Ripple's side, they didn't argue the fair notice defense, which is one of their initial arguments, that they're saying basically, hey, we were in your office. We talked to you guys several times at the SEC, and you never told us that we think this token is a security and you need to get it registered. They gave them no guidance whatsoever. So they can argue legally that they were given no fair notice, hence the fair notice defense. You guys never told me that what we were doing was wrong, so we kept doing it, and now we're here. And then years down the road, you come and say, well, you should have known the entire time that XRP was a security and you were breaking the law. So, and why did they do that, or why didn't they bring that up in this motion? Jeremy Hogan states, quite clearly, maybe they didn't think they need it. And why don't they think they need it, if that's what they were thinking? Well, because of something called blue sky laws. Now, Ripple's team breaks down blue sky laws in this in order to basically end the defense. And what are blue sky laws? Blue sky laws are basically securities laws at the state level before the feds had enacted their own SEC guidelines and security guidelines. So the federal level now basically got their guidelines from all of the states' blue sky laws that were basically securities laws back in the day. That's what everything is based off of with the SEC and their securities laws. So what the blue sky law says basically is that if there was no investment contract, there is no security. So if an investment contract would have been something like you buy an asset and then a company came out after that and said, hey, we promise, and in writing, they're writing a contract out that we are going to do X, Y, and Z in order to help increase the value of that asset that you purchased. That would at least be an investment contract. And then you can start applying securities laws to it, or at least start applying the Howey test to it, which has 4 different prongs. And I've gone over that in a different video, and I'm not going to go over it again today. But basically, they're stating at the end of this that there was never anything promised by Ripple to the XRP holders. Therefore, there is no investment contract. Therefore, the Howey test doesn't even apply. We don't even get on base, right? We're not even playing in the same ballpark here. So, and that really is the brunt of their arguments. I mean, it doesn't seem to be too complex. They're definitely not very specific. I didn't read anywhere or listen to any of these lawyers say any specific mention of a particular date that Ripple sold unregistered securities, and this is the reason why, and this was the date, and this was who it was for. They really don't go into that, which was kind of surprising to me. So I just don't think the SEC even has a chance at this one. Now, yeah, they're going to delay as long as possible because that's what they do, and that's what they've been doing the entire time. Even though Gary Gensler says justice delayed is justice denied, but they have done nothing but delay this case at every possible turn, and they will continue to do so until we're done. So I just don't really expect the end of this case for at least another 4 to 6 months, right? And I've probably said that 2 months ago. But yeah, we're probably another 4 to 6 months just based on what's going on now, barring any other unforeseen delays, which kind of sucks, but this is where we're at. So that brings me to the XRP price, because the XRP price the last couple of days since these filings has been going crazy. Over the last 7 days, you can see XRP right here up nearly 50%, right? This token has not moved in a very long time. It's been hovering around the 30 cent to 35 cent mark for months. And now we are finally breaking out of that. I don't know if it's going to stay here, right? This is not financial advice. I have no idea where this is going. Anybody who says they do is lying to you, but it's just nice to see some movement, right? We've had red days over the last, week, or honestly the last 6 months. Ethereum's down almost 10%, but XRP is up almost 50%. So, right. So kind of a decoupling from, XRP from the rest of the market, which is awesome. I love to see that, but it may be temporary. We may see the price drop back down. Really, obviously, the overall market decides what's going to happen with crypto. And then within crypto, Bitcoin usually decides what's going to happen in this environment. So with all of that going on, I hope you guys enjoyed what I had to say, or at least understood what I had to say. To me, this is good news. It's just another step towards the end, which we're all looking forward to. And let me remind you once again that Gary Gensler and the SEC believe that nearly all of crypto are securities. So if Ripple loses this case, it is going to be very, very bad for all of crypto, not just for XRP. This is why it's so important to support Ripple and what they're doing and XRP holders, because if you hold crypto and you're not a fan of XRP, you think it's a garbage coin and a banker coin, whatever it is you think it is supposed to be, it doesn't really matter at this point, because if XRP goes down, the rest of the market goes with it. Think about that before you get real negative about Ripple and XRP. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I do appreciate it. Let me know how you feel about this Ripple case and things going forward, or the market in general. I don't mind. We can talk about anything. And if you guys want to, join me Saturday, 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to be live streaming and I'm going to go over many different topics. It's going to be stable fund plus XRP and maybe Terrarium and MetaMonkey AI and anything else that you guys want to talk about. Hop on, let me know. See you in the chat, and we'll see you guys on the next one.